I am just at the very peaceful Mylor Bridge, and I wanted to introduce the video from somewhere beautiful in Cornwall. It's a little bit of a grey day, but it's still lovely to be by the sea. In this video, I really wanted to do some old school recipes. I really love anything that's like quintessentially British and seasonal cooking. I just really think that keeping those kind of little traditions alive, or memories that my grandparents or my mum would have had growing up, like keeping those recipes and those moments alive, I think is so lovely. When I get home, I'm going to cook a beef stew with ale, which I've never done before. I've done Guinness, but not ale. I did an Eve's pudding a while back, and I thought actually next I'd like to do a jam pudding, because I'm really trying to get my food costs down a little bit, because I'm finding food shopping so expensive. I've not had any kind of jam pudding in such a long time, like probably 20 years. Join me for my slow living, peaceful, calm, hopefully for you, escapism. I would say that cooking is definitely my love language. Being by the sea is my favourite place to be. Making my home cozy, all of those things is just what I want to get across, really, and I think it's a peaceful place to be. That's cute. It's a great day, but it's still lovely. For my old school dish of choice, I used my Cornish cookery book to make a beef stew. I must say this recipe was really disappointing. I have made much better beef stews with strong gravies, rich gravies. I also don't really like putting potato in stew. I'd rather just have potato of some form on the side. So when you're watching this, if you're thinking, what is she doing? I was following a recipe and I probably should have not done that. Something I've not had in a long time is chicken casserole. I love chicken casserole. I love sausage casserole, and also just like mash, sausage, onion gravy, peas, those kind of meals. So I like that they are hearty and flavoursome and comforting, but this recipe didn't really feel like any of those things. I can appreciate that if it was something you had in your childhood, then it would be a lovely and simple meal, but for me it was just not what I was expecting. Saying all of that, I actually really liked the potato cream cake, and I think a lot of you would like it as well. I did add garlic because the recipe didn't call for that, and I thought it would be so basic, and once it was cooked I also added some cheese under the pastry. But the onion went really sweet, and I also added the cream at the beginning because it said to add it 10 minutes before it's finished cooking, which in my opinion wouldn't have gotten into the potatoes properly. So yeah, I kind of made it my own, but I was quite impressed with it. Ignore the pastry, I forgot to take it out of the fridge, so it was a bit broken, but it still tasted good. I have to say I am totally unimpressed with that cookbook. I feel rude because someone has obviously put hard work into making it. I think I got it in Boscastle or something. However, we did enjoy the meal somewhat, and Ollie actually nearly finished his plate, which was great. Also, the fact we didn't have enough beef in it doesn't help either, which I'm totally aware of. But it's good to try other people's recipes, and it's definitely a lighter version of what I would usually make. I love having dumplings with it, and my nan makes a good one as well. So my standards are really high, probably. I talked about this in my last video, but we met a lovely man called Rab in Flushing on our walk. So I've written him a card. I'll read you what I've said in case anyone's invested, but I do need to add a couple more. We wanted to wish you lots of luck for your move. Cornwall will miss you, but we are very confident that your new community will be so grateful to have gained you. We thoroughly enjoyed our conversation with you the other day. Not knowing many people here yet, you made us feel most welcome. Please drop us an email when you're settled in. Your new friends Imogen and Ollie. P.S. You are now our #1 fashion icon and have inspired us to look smarter. I can't really say anything else. I wanted to do a song recommendation, but I feel like that's just... I was going to recommend, if he misses Cornwall, to listen to Fisherman's Blues by the Waterboys, but I'm sure that he's got his own music for that. this is the card I've chosen. I've had it for about 4 years and I was going to keep it for myself, but I figured it's quite a hopeful, cute one, so we'll have to drop it to him tonight in case he's moving ASAP. I've decided that I want to make some classic cookies. Not really British, I know, but just really fancy some. And when you buy them from the shop, you get 4 in a pack, so I'd much rather make my own and have loads. I would recommend this recipe. It was 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 cup of white sugar, 3 cups of plain flour, and then I just did 1 teaspoon of baking powder because I didn't have bicarb and baking powder, and you're supposed to do 1 teaspoon of one and half a teaspoon of the other. And I think I did 1 tablespoon of vanilla essence and 2 eggs, and then I had 2 packets of chocolate chips. 1 was dark chocolate and 1 was milk chocolate. So in another recipe you're supposed to put it in the fridge before cooking it. I definitely would recommend that. I feel like it changes the texture and you lessen the risk of your cookies turning into biscuits. You are supposed to do the sugar and the butter together and then do the dry ingredients together and then combine them. I also forgot to tell you that you're supposed to do a teaspoon of sea salt in this, but not normal table salt. So that cookie recipe said you could make 36 cookies, but I don't want them to be really thin and really small. I like them to be quite big, almost like New York cookies. So I've cooked them for a really short amount of time and the dough was quite big, as you saw. It's an experiment because the last cookies I made, which were New York cookies, and they were salted caramel fudge ones, they had to go in the fridge for 30 minutes before you cook them. This recipe didn't say that, which tends to make cookies a bit more cakey instead of doughy. So I've taken them out really early. The only thing is they haven't really browned at all much on the top, only the edges. My absolute favourite cookies of all time are Domino's cookies. If you've never had a Domino's cookie, I would recommend just going in there to you get 4 in a pack, so I would recommend trying them because they are absolutely delicious. They must be so sugary. Okay, so the secret to a good Domino's cookie is the fact that it's just completely undercooked. Because this tastes really similar. Oh, 2 more in the oven. I'm intrigued to see how they set when they're actually cold. Is it still warm now? Oh, it's so nice. Also cook the dough straight from frozen. So if you like to have something sweet but homemade, constantly available to you, I would say doubling up on this, the recipe, and then putting half in the oven. You could probably, depending on how many are in your family or how many people you live with, you could do a third straight away and then the rest in 2 sections in the freezer probably, or even you could do it single serve if you wanted. Good morning. We are about to go on a walk. So where we lived before, Falmouth was like a 30-minute drive nearly, and so was Penzance, about 25 maybe. But now we are closer in the direction of Falmouth, which I'm quite enjoying, being near somewhere with stuff going on, because when you need something you can just hop in the car and get it, whereas before it was a petrol situation, like is it worth the petrol going there and back? So yeah, I am liking testing out a new area, but don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved being near Porthleven before, like near Penzance and Prussia Cove, and being all around there. It's absolutely amazing, but from a practicality point of view it wasn't as helpful. And now being that little bit higher up is really nice. We're going to start exploring around here more, so Flushing, Falmouth, probably Truro as well. There are nearer places, so we're going to have a stroll around there this weekend. Ollie loves a looping walk, he doesn't like to go back on himself. So that's the plan. Also, just before we do it, just quickly, posting twice a week has made me so happy. The conversation in the comments, the conversations I get in the comments, it's just so fun for me. Like, I feel like I've gained friends, but it's been so lovely to have a creative outlet and loads of connection off the back of it. So I just wanted to say lots of love and thank you very much for the comments, and I'm so glad I've started posting twice a week. Hopefully I can keep on top of it, that is my intention. But yeah, it's been really nice so far. I've only been doing it a couple of weeks, but I just, when I wake up and I just see nice comments to respond to and just having chats, and again it just feels a bit more personal, which just makes me so happy. I just feel so lucky. That's all. You have the bigger one.
No, you had the bigger one.
No, because I think I already had some today. Thank you. This pudding was absolutely delicious, and I think it's going to make a comeback. I know it's a classic, but it'll be hyped about again soon because it's really cheap and easy to make. I would just say if you follow the recipe from BBC, you're going to need to cover it with tin foil and cook it for a lot longer than the recipe calls for because it was undercooked when I pulled it out. Thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to see you next week.